3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey guys, this is another bonus episode that we're doing this week. This makes, 2 bonuses, 1 Patreon video, and then our 2 normal shows?
That's right.
Awesome.
But I remember how to do this.
I know.
Put the mic to my face.
We don't know what exactly is happening. So we are at Ohio Valley Hops for the hop grower, the open house
9th
days.
annual Ohio Hop Growers Guild open house. We've been doing this for 9 years here to give hop heads and brewers and bartenders and potential growers and home brewers a chance to go out and see what's happening, because we've actually got about 40-50 commercial growers in the state of Ohio growing a fair amount of hops and being utilized by quite a few brewers here in the local area.
That's awesome. And you have how many local breweries that get their hops from you guys?
I already sending hops this year to Cellar Dweller up at Valley Vineyards in Morrow, Narrow Path down in Loveland, Fibonacci down in Mount Healthy, West Side, Little Fish out in Athens, and Urban Artifact.
Nice. Now, is Little Fish the farthest brewery that you've sent hops to?
Yeah.
Nice.
Absolutely.
And how much are those, or how many of those are pelletized versus? I know you do some wet hop for some of the more local breweries.
Yeah, 95% are pelletized.
Okay.
We've actually got a little bit more on the wet hop side this year because a couple people have either got back in the game or stepping it up a little bit, but it's still 95% are going to be dried and pelletized.
Nice. That's awesome. And you have, I should have my sheet up, but I don't, 15 varieties?
I don't think I have that many anymore.
That's right. There are like 5 or 6 that are all the same, the Vista and all that. So, but still an awesome.
Julie,
number
are you going to
of-
introduce me? Do people
No,
even know?
I'm not.
Do people even know who you're talking to?
If they don't know you by now, they're doing it wrong. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm brand new at this. This whole podcasting thing is very new to us.
I mean, I've listened to the podcast once or twice, and I know you're supposed to introduce your guest.
And that's true. Since you're not a first-time guest, we're supposed to introduce you. So, Marco, why don't you do the honors? Because I haven't let you talk at all.
That's all right.
Either. Yeah.
Hi, I'm here. So I'm Marco, and we are joined by Dave Volkman of Ohio Valley Hops.
Yes.
Dave,
Super
welcome
awesome
back to the
guy.
pod.
Thank you, Marco.
Yes. Glad to have. Thanks for inviting everybody out here. Have you had a good turnout so far today?
We've probably had about 40 people stop by so far.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's
Excellent.
awesome. Yeah. The weather is beautiful.
Best ever for an open house.
Couldn't be a better day for this. The sun is shining, humidity's down. This is something that I wanted to ask while we were walking around before we set up the equipment, but I thought, want to record this. If there is there a single hop variety that you would absolutely love to grow, regardless of, if it's still experimental, if it's, held up in legal whatever's by someone else that says only they can grow X hop? Is there a hop that you would love to be able to grow, given all freedom?
Yeah, great question. I really like the public varieties. I think that there are some beautiful, lovely hops out there that are not controlled by the hop conglomerate. They do a better job of marketing, and because they control supply, they can drive hype. Citra and Mosaic are wonderful. They are really beautiful.
Oh, I love
but
Citra.
there are so many great public variety hops that there's nobody out there marketing them because they're just publicly available. But a great brewer can make a great beer out of any hops.
And I've heard, I forget what podcast I was listening to that mentioned this, there are some hop growers that are working to make hybrid versions of the public hops already available that make them taste exactly like, say, Citra, for example, to where, hey, we're not infringing on your hop, but we're finding ways to develop our own. Have you played around with any hybridization here?
Not a bit.
Okay.
We have 1,500 plants out here. They're all female because, as we talked about when I was on the show before, they're dioecious, male and female plants.
Yeah.
The males are worthless. They just cause problems out here, so we just keep 1,500 girls here. To start that process,
Women rule the world. What can I say? and the hop farms.
yeah. To do that process, I've talked to some breeders up in Michigan. You literally have to make thousands and thousands of crosses, and you just every year you eliminate the ones that are not up to it in terms of the agronomics, in terms of disease resistance. And then when you get down to the ones that actually survive that might produce a decent crop, you don't know what you're going to get when you hybridize stuff. You might think this sounds great. Oh, if I mixed, Citra and Mosaic, it'd be awesome. It may not be that good.
Yeah.
The whole process of genetics is so complicated, and I have got zero interest in doing that. I'm going to grow what I got and drink some beer.
Sounds great. It sounds it sounds extremely interesting and exciting if you have the money, the space, the time to put into it.
Yep.
If you don't, it's like you said, just kind of, you could end up with an entire year where you have absolutely nothing to.
I mean, they throw thousands and thousands of starts away every year because they're not up to it, and I don't have the time for that.
So, what's your favorite that you're growing currently?
I love growing Crystal. Crystal is a beautiful hop. It is, I don't think it's utilized as much as it could be, but the brewers that I sell it to absolutely love working with it. Little Fish has got it in a couple of beers. They got a new beer coming out, all new recipe in about 3 weeks.
Nice.
Using Crystal as the aroma hop. It's just got a lovely, I'm at a loss for words of how much I love that hop. And he's done a couple saisons with it. Chad down at Narrow Path uses it in a couple things. I was just talking to Cellar Dweller because we're doing a wet hop with them this week and looking at what else he's going to need. And I got his beer list to put out there on the socials for today to advertise. Say, hey, after you're done here, go to the Path or go up to Cellar Dweller, which are both within 5 miles of the yard here.
Which I didn't realize that they're
hyper local brewing right there. When you can drink a beer made with ingredients less than 5 miles away, that's pretty freaking cool.
Agreed.
But CJ sent me the hop list of what he's got. I think he's got 5-6 beers on right now, and 3 of them have Crystal in it.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
I talked to him last week, and he said there's not a beer on tap that doesn't have your hops in it.
Cool.
Oh, I love that.
Awesome.
Yep.
That's amazing.
So you have, as we walked every row here, and you were saying that the first 3 rows you're going to take out.
Yep.
Are you going to replant that same variety, or are you going to do another variety?
I will probably put in a proven winner.
Okay.
I've got a couple of varieties here that I'm pulling out, and the tough part about growing hops is you really don't know if they're going to have a good yield for about 3 years.
Right.
And those varieties actually had good yields, but they have been hit with some insect pressure that I didn't used to have, and I'm unable to beat it. And so now that insect pressure has been killing off half the crop, and I can't sustain that if I want to make any money.
Sure.
So it's the nasty, infamous European corn borer, for whatever reason, has taken a liking to those 2 varieties. And I've tried various measures to eliminate it. Can't do it, so I'm tearing them out. They weren't the most in-demand varieties anyway, so I'm going to replace them with stuff that I know is going to do well, doesn't have those problems. The space will be refilled, just not with those varieties.
Nice. Very good.
And how much do you base I know that most of what you have planted, they're going to be replanted again, the different varieties, but for something like this, do you work with local breweries to say, hey, what are your plans for beers within the next few years to try to, I don't even know if you can plan hops that way at all, or just.
They can't plan that, and I can't plan that because of the fickleness of people like us who are beer drinkers who always want something new.
Yeah.
So what I do is I plant stuff that I know is going to grow, and I know it's going to grow well, and I know it'll sell. If I plant 4 more rows of Chinook, I'm going to sell every pound of that Chinook, because Ohio Chinook is so good. In the words of Chuck Lucan down at Narrow Path, it's righteous.
Nice.
It's got some nice cantaloupe and peach notes to it that Pacific Northwest Chinook doesn't have. And right now, I'm leaning to putting more Chinook in there.
Okay. Yeah, that was some of the ones that that was the one that you told us to make sure that we heated up in our hands.
Yeah, because it's
to really get the different aromas from just kind of crushing the cone, which was, it smelled absolutely delicious. But when you got that warm, when you started really
you're
volatilizing, yes.
Volatilizing the oils.
Holy cow, it changed so much. And it's like, it gives me an entirely new perspective on trying to figure out the hops in the beers that I'm drinking.
Well, and I'll tell you what, I'm going to complicate this. What a hop smells like when you rub it isn't necessarily what it tastes like.
Will it still smell the same?
You're going to get some of that.
Okay.
But other things are happening with during the brewing process. Some of that's going to get boiled off.
Okay.
And others of it, aromas are going to come out that you don't smell when you do that, because Some of what you're getting are monoterpenes, some are sesquiterpenes, but you're going to get some of those more than others depending on the temperature at which they volatilize, some of which is as low as like 120, 130 degrees. Others, it's more like 160, 170 degrees. So some of that stuff, depending on if you put it in, at flame out, or if you put it in as a dry hop, it's going to change the character of it completely. So, but it's still a good gauge of whether it's a aromatic hop.
Okay, that makes sense.
This is awesome.
I know, I love this so much.
I don't really get out in nature very much. I'm enclosed in tap rooms most of the time. So just to have this beautiful day and be out here, and of course, with having brewed beer, I've used your hops, and the beers we've made with them have been fantastic. And so to get out here and actually see them and to just like you said, take a cone and rub the cone and smell the cone, it's just great.
What's weird is every year I've offered my brewers the chance to come out here and help pick and get out into nature.
Yeah.
And it turns out they rarely come out to help.
But
Marco's been offered many, many times to come enjoy nature.
Yes, yes.
There he is.
That's true.
But when you're part of the process, kind of from start to finish, even if not entirely, you don't have to be planting the seeds, but being involved in seeing things from when the cones are still on the vine all the way to when you're dropping them into the boil, I feel like that would helping to understand the process from start to finish would just make you a better brewer, I feel like.
It is. I agree with you on that, Julia. But it's honestly,
it's hard. Sure, it's hard.
I think it's a great marketing opportunity too. I'll tell you who does it real well is
our brewers pick the hops that are going into your beer. I mean, how cool is that?
Here's who does it real well is Chad from Narrow Path, because every year he comes out here, he gets the glamour shots, he gets his drone up there, he flies over it, he makes a video, and to be able to say that our hops were picked less than 5 miles from the brew house, and you might see the hop grower sitting at the bar sometime, is pretty freaking cool. And to know that you're getting a taste of that and you're supporting a local business. Not only are you supporting that local business right there in the tap room, but you're supporting a local business.
Multiple local businesses.
Right down there. And, I buy stuff around here to maintain the hop yard and to feed the hops and whatnot. So it's part of that local food chain that I find very important to support anyway, whether it's a restaurant that's farm to table or a beer that's farm to table.
Yeah, I would agree. I had two other questions. You had mentioned, the wet hop and getting these cones to the breweries, like as they're being picked. What is the fastest that you have gotten hops from the vine to the brewery that's wet hopping them? Not breaking any speed limits, of course. But like what's the...
Cellar Dweller is 4.8 miles from here. And every year I literally come out here to the machine. I cut down some bines. I run them through the machine. For the size they're doing, it might take me 20 minutes. And as they're coming out of the machine, I'm putting them into brew bags. And I just immediately drive up there. So from the last cone coming out of the hop picker to them being delivered into the hands of the brewers at Cellar Dweller might be 15 minutes.
That is freaking amazing.
That's
crazy.
I've been there. I've been there brewing when Dave shows up with those hops, and it's amazing. They smell amazing, and I don't know. I can't say how much I really love those beers that we made, and I'm looking forward to the beer that CJ's making this coming week. I'm looking forward to when it's ready. And of course, now for all of you listening to the pod, I don't know whether it was mentioned or not, but I didn't just move house, so I'm if this hop yard is 4.8 miles from Cellar Dweller, I'm probably less than that. So I'm pretty close to there. So I'm anxious.
You're about 2 miles.
2 miles. Yeah.
Nice, okay.
Yeah. It's I'm anxious to go try that beer when it's ready.
Yeah. And then last question that I had, because I know that you're on a timetable, do the Ohio, I'm going to get this wrong, the Ohio Valley Hop Growers Guild, do they ever work with, or Ohio Hop Growers Guild? Okay, I was close-ish.
You're close.
Work with other states' hop growers guilds? Does that even exist in other states?
We are Our state guild is an affiliate member of the Hop Growers of America. Hop Growers of America has a small growers council because 95% plus of hops are grown in the Pacific Northwest.
Right.
But there is I'm going to call it a vibrant hop growing community in Wisconsin, Minnesota, Indiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania, definitely New York and Michigan. They're a lot bigger than we are. They're in a better position to grow them than we are in terms of latitude. And so most of us have our own state associations. Not everybody's got one, but Ohio's got a great association, and we've worked real close with Ohio craft brewers. They did last year, and they'll do again this year, a Fresh Hop Ohio marketing campaign for all Ohio fresh hop beers.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Harvest ales that we brew with hops right out of the field. So we do work together, and especially if you've been in the leadership of one of these associations, you tend to know the leaders of the others through a number of different things we've had to face with legislation and regulation, where we've worked together to kind of fend things off and to steer things in the direction we want to. So yeah, we tend to work within our own states. None of us grow enough hops to sell much outside of our own state.
Okay.
I've got an acre and a half here, a couple football fields worth of hops. I could sell everything I have, and I do sell everything I have to 5 brewers, and I'm done. And I think a couple of those brewers would buy more if I had more.
You're able to, right? Okay.
Nice.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, thanks for taking a few minutes to let us show up here and show us around and to talk to us. What do you want to plug? How can people find you, the Hop Farm, the Hop Growers Guild?
Follow me on the socials. I'm on Instagram and Facebook, Ohio Valley Hops. And follow Ohio Hop Growers Guild. I know at least they're on Facebook. I'm not sure if they're on Instagram, or I don't think any of us are on Twitter anymore. But follow us there. Some guys we got a nice Facebook page, or a nice website for Ohio Hop Growers Guild, www.ohgg.org. If you're a home brewer, I'm sure you could hook up with a grower if you want to do something. I'm always amenable to that, doing small amounts. In fact, after I'm done harvesting, anybody wants to come out and kind of glean the stuff where I missed a few cones on some bines, you're welcome to come out and just pick them and put them in your home brew if you want to. Just reach out to me through my contact on Facebook or Instagram. But and drink that local beer.
Yeah.
That's probably the most important thing. Yeah.
Now, I know you're a certified Cicerone, Dave, but do you also homebrew beer?
I don't. I have no interest in doing that.
Okay.
I could not make a decent enough beer to justify my time. I've had homebrew. I've had some good homebrew. I've had some awful homebrew. I just don't want to go to the hassle of all of that. It's not my thing.
That's fair.
I can drive 5 minutes and get a great beer that somebody else took care of. And
Absolutely.
I'll grow them hops and they make me my beer.
Sounds good.
That sounds like a plan. Let's go drink some beer.
Let's go drink some beer. All right. Thank you again. And I can't wait to try all the beers that all the breweries from Narrow Path to Little Fish have with your hops in them.
All right.
Thank you
Thanks
again.
for coming out.
Yeah, absolutely. We will see you guys soon.